Good afternoon. Today we're going to do a review on the Origo 5100 Heat Pal alcohol stove and space heater. Okay, so here is the Origo 5100. Right now it's set up as a space heater. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble it, and we can look at the components. So right here, this is just the cover for when it's in space heater mode. The stove's a little bit hot right now because I was using it as a heater to warm up my boat. So to disassemble it, you got to make sure it's turned off. There's no flame, so it's turned off. And there's a couple of catches here. It might be hard to see in the front video. The burner lifts out. That's the bottom. Now we're left with the burner. Pick it up here. So I've just got natural light and kerosene lighting here, so the lighting's not the best for the video. Now this portion comes off the fuel cell. The burner comes off the fuel cell like this. Okay, and then the next step is the burner comes off the fuel cell like this. So there's the fuel cell. I don't know if you can see that. That's the wick. So that's where the heat's going to be produced. It's just a big one-way wick. All right. The next thing we're going to look at is fueling the stove. Right now I'm using Captain Fab marine alcohol. I have used just regular alcohol from the hardware store in the past, but this was on sale at the Chandlery in Ottawa for $22 a gallon, which is a pretty good price. So now I'm using the real deal instead. Okay, so there's probably some kind of a rule or recommendation against fueling next to an open flame, but that's all I have for lighting, so I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. So what I like to do is pre-measure some of the alcohol into a smaller cup like this. Okay. Then we've got to get the alcohol into a tiny little notch in the fuel cell right here, which is really a bit of a pain in the neck. It's, to my mind, it's the worst part about the stove. So personally, I like to use a filter. I find it makes life a lot easier. So just any filter with a small hole, and then take the alcohol and pour it in. The stove will hold a maximum of 1.2 liters of alcohol, which will last 5 hours on high or about 20 hours on low. So that's pretty good, you know, for a space heater. Okay, now that we've fueled the stove, we'll reassemble it. So burner goes on top. Push down till it snaps into place. The base, like that. You've got to make sure that the fuel control is lined up with the little hole. Okay, like that, and that clips into place. You can see that there. And then that goes on top like that. Okay, so now we're going to light the stove. It's the easiest stove you'll ever light. It's easier than lighting propane, or, you know, it's about as easy as turning on an electric stove. It's pretty fantastic. So take off the top. Use the control lever to turn the stove on. And you'll notice one of these burners has a little cutout in it. Okay, so again, to light it, In the open position, find the thing with the little cutout, stick in your barbecue lighter, and light the wick. That's it. The stove is lit. That's all there is to it. Personally, one thing I like to do when I'm using the stove in as a space heater, as you can see, there's no way for the heat to circulate, and it comes up into here. I've got a stainless steel heat shield on my deck head here, but that still gets pretty hot. So what I like to do is I take a large pot. Now this only works when you're at dock or at anchor, because if you got rocking and rolling, this would fall off. But I just put a pot on top like that for a heat sink. You get about 20 hours on low like this, and today when I came to the boat, it was about 4 degrees Celsius inside the boat. After about 2 hours of having the stove on, it was about 10 or 12 degrees Celsius inside. So it's quite effective as a space heater in a small space. This is a 35-foot boat, so I can use it to heat up the main salon. The forward cabin and the after cabin in cold weather, they stay pretty chilly if this is my only heat source. Alright, so if that's the stove in space heater mode, I'm going to change it to stove mode. So to do that, you simply lift this off. It can get pretty warm, so you got to be careful. As you can see, there's a substantial flame coming out now, and it's quite warm. So to demonstrate the stove in stove mode, I've put together a coffee percolator. Put some water in it, and we'll see how long it takes to boil. Now obviously I'm not going to make you watch the pot boil, so we'll see how long it takes for that to occur. The time right now is 12:43, so we'll see how long it takes for that coffee to percolate. Okay, we'll look a little bit here at the control mechanism. It's very simple to turn the stove. That's on maximum there. Turn the stove down to half there, and to turn it off, move the lever all the way over. I'm not going to turn it off right now because we're percolating coffee. Simple. Okay, and there we have it. So there's percolation happening. So we've got a pot of boiling water, or a kettle of boiling water. The time now is 12:53, so that was exactly 10 minutes to bring water to the boiling point. That's, I don't know, about a liter, 750 milliliters of water, so it's a substantial amount. I don't think you can complain about that. A few more details about the stove. I bought it in Ottawa at the chandlery for $222 Canadian, which is quite good for a high quality marine stove. Quite affordable. Another thing I wanted to talk about is some of the myths associated with alcohol stoves. One is that you can't see the flame. Well, clearly you can see the flame very well. Another myth is that alcohol is difficult to find. While alcohol as a fuel source is very easy to find. People have been manufacturing alcohol for hundreds of years. But if you're going looking for it in an out-of-the-way place, don't go to your marine stove or your chandlery. Just go to the hardware store and you'll find methylated spirits or some kind of industrial alcohol that will work in your stove just fine. No need to buy marine stove alcohol. Just buy any old alcohol will do the trick. Another myth is that they're slow. They're not very hot, and they are. I cook everything on this. I cook stews. I boil water. I fry eggs. I make everything with my Origo. So the idea that they're not hot or they're not good to cook on is just a myth. Of course, this unit is a single burner unit, so so if you're making a complicated dish, this isn't the right unit for you. However, there are 2 and 3 burner non-pressurized alcohol stoves on the market by Origo. There's even one on the market with an oven. So so if you want to do the complete galley thing, you can. For my purposes, I'm pretty simple cook. I don't get too fancy. So I'm pretty happy with the single burner. It does what I need it to do. So safety features are it's if it tips over, the flame will be extinguished. The alcohol is non-volatile as a fuel, so it can be put out with water. It's not under pressure, so there's no risk of explosion, which there is with some fuel sources on boats, notably propane. And another feature here is that there's no system. It's just a standalone unit. So you pick it up and take it with you. If you need to do an installation, there is no installation. You just plop it down in your cutout or on your counter, wherever you have space, and you've got a stove. So very simple, very easy, which is one of the main reasons I bought it. I like easy. I like systemless. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's a really aggressive rolling boil now. The stove's doing its job. Steam's coming out. We're at about 11 minutes now. All right, well, thank you for watching. That's a review of the Origo 5100 Heat Pal stove and alcohol space heater. Thank you for watching the Arc Brute channel.